What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City match analysis. This time we're going to be analysing the Manchester City home game at the Etihad Stadium in the Premier League with our match against Aston Villa. Before we crack on with this video though, wanted to say make sure if you're interested in the content and enjoying all the Manchester City and football content, make sure you press that red button, subscribe, press the bell, put your push notifications on to help support my channel. We have smashed past 5,000 subscribers. Thank you everyone so much to everyone that has subscribed. It is much appreciated. Thank you everyone for the continued support over the last couple of years, supporting my channel. It is much appreciated. Thank you everyone so much for that. If you want to go check out my social media links, Twitter and Instagram, in description below and popping up on screen too. If you want to go and follow me on there, leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So we're going to crack on with this video and speak first about the team selection. So surprisingly we went with Mendy again. 3 games in a week. He came off as a substitute, went straight down the tunnel. Didn't appear to have any injuries or anything, but he went straight down the tunnel. Some people showing some concern. I imagine he'll be getting fully checked over, because I can't remember last time Benjamin Mendy did 3 games in a week, really. I know he's now going to have a week off, but hopefully he's not picked up any injury. But yeah, it is nice to see Mendy starting 3 games in a week. But yeah, it surprises me, so I don't know. Went with Cancelo at right back. Interesting. Instead of going with Kyle Walker, so we'll probably see Kyle Walker in midweek instead. Went with Fernandinho and John Stones at centre back, which I found interesting, with Nicolas Otamendi on the bench, and ended up picking Sergio Aguero onto the bench, as Gabriel Jesus ended up starting instead. I was wondering if I was going to go with Jesus or Aguero. Went with Jesus. So there we go. For Aston Villa, they went with Douglas Luiz to start against former club Manchester City, fresh from his call-up for Brazil. Of course, Manchester City didn't want to sell Douglas Luiz, but we couldn't get a work permit for him because he couldn't get an international call-up, or we was going to put him on one of the highest paid players, which is what Aston Villa have done, which has ultimately got him a Brazil call-up, which means he'd now have a work permit if Manchester City were to re-sign him. We do have a buyback clause, by the way, but I imagine City will see how it goes for his career at Aston Villa before making any decision on that. McGinn and Grealish ended up starting for Aston Villa too, so Wesley starting up front too, so Heaton as well, Mings, players like that. Not too many surprises, nothing that I didn't discuss in the preview. So we're going to talk about the first half first. And there isn't too much to talk about, really. Jesus should have scored on 4 minutes. Ball was cut across. Difficult opportunity. Just twisting, turning with his back turn to goal. Just has a shot. Unlucky, in my opinion. But, yeah, I was expecting to see the net ruffle, but it didn't. Just one of them things. Villa then went closer. McGinn's shot was well saved. One-handed, big, strong right hand, I think it was, by Ederson. Ended up pushing it into the rebound of one of the players before Ederson ended up making the save and putting it out for a corner. VAR was having a look to see if it was a penalty or anything, but if anything, it was handball. I think it was Douglas Luiz that was trying to follow in the follow-up on the rebound, but there we go. David Silva really should have scored towards the end of the half on his left foot too, missing a sitter. That was very disappointing and quite frustrating as we went in at half-time at 0-0. Did make a point. How good is Ederson? Like, he's one of them keepers who doesn't have a lot to do. He's very good with his feet. People always call into question how good he is with his hands. He doesn't have a lot to do, but when he's called upon, he pulls off some, not just like routine good saves, like there's some really exceptional saves in him. He's just a really top-class goalkeeper, and it baffles me that he's Brazil's number 2. He's just an amazing goalkeeper. How good is he? He's absolutely fantastic. Didn't think it was too working well up front for Manchester City. Felt like we needed Aguero or Mahrez maybe to put some freshness into the second half, because was guilty of a couple of poor misses. The flow of the game weren't too brilliant. Like I said, there's a VAR decision Aston Villa had that weren't given. I think there's checking handball. I think there's like 3 or 4 things in the first half that ended up being checked by VAR. I think we even had a look at a potential red card too for Grealish, of a second yellow or something. I'm not too sure, but it's all just confusing. In my opinion, though, all the correct decisions were made in the first half. But yeah, didn't think the referee was too brilliant. Giving corners when not giving corners when they were corners, giving free kicks that just weren't free kicks. Just ridiculous in my opinion. For Villa, McGinn looking lively, Douglas Luiz looking lively too. But yeah, that's really where it was. The topic of conversation at half-time was poor finishing, and for City being extremely clinical in my opinion over the last couple of games, it is a little bit disappointing, but it does happen. But we did rectify it in the second half, and just 20 seconds into the second half too. So on 46 minutes, route 1 from Ederson. Jesus somehow beats Tyrone Mings in the air, which should just never happen. Raheem Sterling then played through, puts the ball through Heaton's legs. Heaton's legs are near enough on the ground. How the ball gets through his legs, I'm not too sure. Heaton will be very disappointed. And somehow, we go 1-0 ahead. a very disappointing goal for Aston Villa to concede. Scrappy goal for us, but I'll take it. 0-0 at half-time to come out straight away in the second half and go 1-0 ahead. I'll take that every day of the week. Don't really care how the goal comes about, really. So yeah, 65 minutes, 2-0 Manchester City. VAR had a good 3 or 4 minute look at this one. Kevin De Bruyne whips the ball in. It looks like the touch has come off David Silva. I'm not too sure who's been awarded the goal, but it looks like it's taken a touch off David Silva. Raheem Sterling, the check if it's touched him, definitely hasn't touched Raheem Sterling. So he was in an offside position, by the way, Raheem Sterling, but it's not touched him. So obviously the first part of VAR check is, has it touched him? No, so he's not offside. Then the check in to see if he's interfering with play, because he's in an offside position. Is he interfering with play or not? Has a good long look. In the end, ends up standing with the on-field decision, which is goal. Manchester City end up going 2-0 ahead. Like I said, there's a bit of a dispute. Is it De Bruyne's goal? Is it David Silva's goal? To me, it looked like it was quite a clear touch off David Silva. David Silva claims it was a touch off him. So I'm going to give the goal to David Silva. 2-0 game setter match, really. The 2-goal cushion that I was looking for. Yeah, 70 minutes, 5 minutes later, Fernandinho, I think it was from a set piece. Both played in. Fernandinho on the right-hand side just thrashes a shot right across goal. Bernardo Silva's there. Doesn't tap it in. Hits his leg. Rebounds. Aston Villa don't clear the lines. Gundogan jumps up. Smacks the ball, goes through the legs of one of the Aston Villa players on the line and goes into the back of the net. Decent finish, 3-0. Job done, really. Manchester City cruising. Then a little bit of a talking point with Fernandinho. 5 minutes to go or so. I think it's like the 86th, 87th minute, something like that. He's sent off for his second yellow card. Now, first yellow card came about because he barred one of the players. I think it was Grealish, when he took a too heavy a touch and there was no one in the middle. He was going nowhere and he takes him out for no reason. That was a stupid yellow card. And then we're 3-0 up with 3 minutes to go. Albeit the sending off means he's going to miss the Southampton Cup game, I think. I'm fairly sure. I'm 90% sure that that's the game he's going to be missing. If not, if it's going to be a Premier League game, it's going to be Southampton at home. So I can think of worse games that Fernandinho could miss. But yeah, just 2 stupid yellow cards that he really just didn't need to do, really. It's like the Phil Foden situation that happened in the Champions League. Fouls that didn't really need to be committed, but they were, and ends up getting sent off. But yeah, last kick to the game. Gabriel Jesus has a lob shot after some confusion, I think it was between Mings and Heaton. Jesus chips the ball, ends up hitting the bar before being cleared eventually, and then Villa went up the other end, and McGinn hit the post after Ederson got down really well and made a really good save. So yeah, full time, 3-0 to Manchester City, clean sheet, 3 points. My opinion, job done. Stats for the game: 63% possession for City, 37% possession for Villa. That's not too bad. 11 shots for Villa, 5 on target. They'll be disappointed not to have scored. Like I said, I think Ederson's had a really good game in this game. Now, 25 shots for City, just 9 on target, 3 to show for it. 25 shots and only 9 on target is a little bit disappointing, but the fact that 9's on target and put 3 away, it's not so bad. There we go. I was looking for City to improve on their pass rate. Didn't even get into the 500s in the last game against Atalanta. 598 passes this time, right just below 600. Which is always what we're looking for, at just under 88% pass completion rate. That's okay. It's something we can improve on. I've seen us get towards 91, 92, even 93% before. So yeah, something that I'm sure Pep Guardiola, who demands perfection, will look at. Villa, 343 passes. Again, against us, that's decent. 80% pass completion rate too. That's pretty decent. 2 clear-cut chances created for City, none for Aston Villa. More crosses put in the box by Manchester City, and City connected with more balls into the box too. That includes low crosses too, because let's face it, if we're putting just high balls in, we're going to more than likely lose more than we're going to win. More dribbles from Manchester City, more successful with our dribbling. 2 more corners for City and more recoveries. In terms of tackling, City surprisingly had more tackles than Aston Villa too, which is interesting, but more interceptions, more blocks, more clearances, and more headed clearances for Aston Villa, so dominating in the defensive stats, which the scoreline does reflect what happened. And in the second half, Aston Villa kind of capitulated, and that's just how it is with Manchester City. You give Man City a sniff, you let us get on top, we can punish you, and all of a sudden, when you find yourself at 0-0, all of a sudden you're 2-0 down, 3-0 down. Ask Crystal Palace, ask Everton, ask Aston Villa now. Same's happened. Pretty robotic from Manchester City. I can understand why people call us a machine. It's like a machine performance from City today. But 3 points means we go 3 points behind Liverpool. Liverpool playing tomorrow against Spurs in their game in hand at home. So hopefully we can get a favour from Spurs, and Spurs can play or be as clinical as what they were at the Etihad. fingers crossed, or let's face it, Liverpool will probably win and we'll go 6 points behind. But, you know, always good to be able to put a bit of pressure on them. In terms of our oppositions, Aston Villa, like I said, crumbled from conceding early on in the second half. A disappointing goal to concede, never really recovered from then. But they did play well up until then. How Jack Grealish managed to escape a red card in this game, I mean, there's got given a yellow card, and there's a couple of dubious fouls that he committed that could well have warranted, if he weren't already on a yellow card, would have almost certainly been another yellow card. So with Fernandinho getting sent off, it's a bit disappointing that he didn't get sent off, but yeah, there we go. Aston Villa, though, they've got Liverpool in their next game in the Premier League in the weekend, so to be fair, I'm going to wish them well. I like Aston Villa. Hope they do well going through to the rest of the season. Like I said, didn't play bad in the first half, just ended up a bit of misfortune, bit of lack of concentration in the second half. Top level like this, you do that, you're going to get punished. So hopefully they can learn the lessons and go into the game against Liverpool next week and be able to rectify that and have that hungering desire and burn in their belly to be able to rectify that next week. That'd be good. For City, Gundogan had a really good game. Defensively, fantastic. Offensively, scoring a goal too, decent. He's my JSGC man of the match. For Raheem Sterling played a lot better in the second half, getting more involved too. But we still didn't have our shooting boots on from the midweek game against Atalanta where we did. So that again is something we need to be targeting going into our couple of games that we've got against Southampton, both at the Etihad Stadium. First in the League Cup, then in the Premier League. Thought Cancelo had a good game. David Silva better in the second half. Job done really. Ederson, my opinion, absolutely fantastic. Like I said, we've got a Southampton double-header at the Etihad coming up. We're playing on Tuesday, 7:45 kickoff for the League Cup game. I think it's the 4th round. So we've got that to look forward to. Then we're playing Saturday, 3 o'clock against Southampton, who, of course, just lost away at home against Leicester, who ended up picking up a decent away win, 9-0. I think it's the joint biggest win ever in the Premier League, and Leicester sitting in third, having a good season. So what Southampton are going to do, I imagine they're going to make lots of changes. Wouldn't surprise me if they sacked their manager too, but got 2 matches coming up at the Etihad to look forward to. So we'll have previews for them coming up over the next week, analysis of course from the League Cup game too to look forward to. Make sure you stay tuned for that. This has been the match reaction, match analysis, match review, whatever you want to call it, for the Aston Villa game. So I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, so I know that you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, put your push notifications on. Smash past 5,000 subscribers, so why not aim for 6,000 subscribers? Any help towards that would be much appreciated. And don't forget, social media links, Twitter and Instagram in description below and popping up on screen too if you want to go and check that out. And go check out my email too, which you can find in description below if you want to hit me up for any general business enquiries or any sponsorships for any videos. And I'll see you all again for the next video. So it's been JSGC. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. Peace. Ciao for now.